Hello viewers, and welcome to the Spell Re. Today we're going to be doing What If Asta Was in Fairytail Part 11. Now, without further ado, let's begin this What If. Last time on What If Asta Was in Fairytail, we began the Phantom Lord arc, and Master Makarov had just discovered Juvia and the rest of Team Shadowgear pinned to a tree and had declared war on Phantom Lord. So we start off this What If in the Phantom Lord Guildhall, with the door being busted in, with Asta in the front saying, "Fairytail's come a-callin'," as Natsu and Gray yelled at him, "I wanted to say that line," as everyone rushed into the Phantom Lord Guildhall. A massive brawl began breaking out between Phantom Lord and Fairytail. Some swords, magic, and even a few chairs were flying all over the place. Phantom Lord seemed to be... Asta would be a little bit surprised that Phantom Lord seemed so surprised. After all, they're the one that picked this fight. As he ducked another fireball, and flat of his blade to hit someone over the head, knocking him out. Fire, ice, wood, swords would be being shot off by Fairytail, with Phantom Lord members being hit or trying to defend, to little success. Makarov would tell everyone that he was going to go up and find Josei, as he enlarged his fist and swatted some Phantom Lord Guild members away. As Urza just yelled that she understood, and that they will hold them off here. And once Makarov was out of sight, an iron club would come down from the rafters, hitting a couple Fairytail members, along with multiple Phantom Lord members. As Gray made a comment that he hit his own guys with that attack. What's his problem? As Gajul would come out of the rafters, along with his two main lackeys, Luck and Magna. Magna would get a flaming bat going and hit with a fairly large fireball that would break out into a bunch of littles as it sailed towards Fairytail. Luck would have his lightning boots and start hitting people, chuckling that, "Haha, this will be fun!" as the battle intensified. As Luck would go to try to kick one of the Fairytail members, as Elfman would catch his foot, and with the arm of some sort of gorilla beast, he would fling Luck across the room. "You'll have to go through me to hurt my friends." As Gajul said, "You should watch where you're going, beast arm." He would yell, "Iron Dragon Club!" But before it made contact with anyone, a black sword would block it, with Asta saying, "I guess it was you, Gajul." As Gajul said, "Who are you?" Asta would respond with, "I'm the Black Sword, Asta, guy with anti-magic. Remember a few years ago, we actually met on a job." As Gajul remembered, "I tried eating your sword. You nearly broke my tooth." "Yeah, we never finished that fight." As Asta would look at him, "Yes, and back then I wouldn't have wanted to hurt you too bad. But now, after what you did to Levy, I'm gonna beat you to a pulp." As both lunged at each other, Gajul would go in for an Iron Dragon talent before Asta would dodge. Gajul would make an Iron Dragon sword, and that sword and Asta's sword would clash. The Iron Dragon sword would actually hold up against the Demon Dweller, as multiple blows were being dealt. Before Natsu would jump in, using Asta as a balancing board, he would deliver a flaming kick to Gajul. As Asta said, "What's the big idea? What's the big idea using me as a balancing board?" As Natsu would just responded, "This is a Dragon Slayer. I'm gonna fight him." Asta would just sigh and say, "Don't lose. And stay on your toes. Something's not right." As he sliced a fireball in half. But a second later, Makarov would fall from the roof higher layers. It was obvious something had happened to him. He looked green and unwell. Urza called out for Master Makarov. The Fairytail members looked and saw Makarov on the ground. They weren't sure what happened. The Fairy Guild members started to panic, and Phantom Lord began regrouping. The tide of the battle quickly started to turn in Phantom Lord's favor as their side regrouped. As Urza called for a retreat, several Phantom Lord members would try using a combination spell to shoot at the Fairytail Guild members, before Asta used the flat of his blade and shot it back at them, and just yelled for everyone to move. Gajul would laugh at them, the fleeing Fairytail Guild members. as Natsu sneered at him for that. But Asta would tell Natsu that not even he can take on the entire guild alone. We need to get out of here now, as Fairytail retreated. Now flashing back to Lucy, she would be walking through the street. I guess they needed someone to watch over Levi and the rest of Team Shadow Gear, but why did it have to be me? I'm the newest member. Maybe that's why. As a woman dressed in blue would walk up behind her, and a man that appeared to come out of the earth got up in front of her. The man spoke in a French accent, telling her that they've been looking all over for Mademoiselle Lucy Hartfilia. Lucy would be shocked at hearing that name and go for her keys, but she would be surrounded by a water bubble. She wouldn't be able to get her keys and she would pass out. She'd wake up at the Phantom Lord Guild building, tied to a chair. This would go pretty much exactly in canon, including her kicking Josei in the crotch and bolting out the window with Natsu coming to save her. She would go back to and find out how bad of a state everyone is. Multiple members were injured, with them trying to get more powerful members back at the guild hall. Roxas would make crude comments, which also included Lucy, as Kana yelled at him. Asta would walk up and yell at Roxas for him speaking such a tone about the fellow guild members. Roxas's facial impression would change as he just told Asta that even if he could help, he's too far away to get there. He's at least a week out. As Asta just deactivated the Lacrima. Shaking his head. Sometimes I seriously wonder what happened to him. As he asked, any sign of Mystican or Yami? Kana, who had been using her cards to try to find them, would say, bad news, couldn't find Mystican. Good news, I found Yami. Problem is, like Roxas, when he's currently out of town, and I don't have a detection lacrima for him. We try sending a message to him, a more old-fashioned method, but it'll take at least a day for it to get to him, and with how far his job was out, I'm not sure if he'll be able to get back that soon. Ursa would just sigh as she walked up. Then I guess it's up to us. As Asta just nodded, as Lucy walked up to him, as she would apologize for causing this problem. Everyone would look at her and she would explain that she was actually a runaway. Her actual name was Lucy Arphelia, and apparently part of the reason why Phantom Lord's after him is they were hired by her father to bring her back, but apparently Phantom Lord also now wants to hold her for ransom, as she just openly apologized to everyone, as they just told her that it was no problem. Fairytail will stand by her, and they won't let creeps like Phantom Lord kidnap her, as the basement of the guild hall started to rumble. As they went outside to see a giant robot walking towards them, Lucy would ask, what was that? As Asta would respond, I think that's the Phantom Lord's secret weapon, as that's where I'm gonna leave it. Now, please like, share, and subscribe if you like this content, and remember to check out the Anime What If subreddit. I'm gonna have an Odyssey account. Well, I have an Odyssey account now, so if anything happens to this channel, my Odyssey, which is a YouTube alternative, will be my backup. And other than that, this will be Spellree, signing off.